What would it take for you to hop into a 50-year-old Volkswagen without any heat and drive 4 hours in freezing temperatures over a snowy mountain pass just to go to a donut shop? And what would you do if you realized in your hasty departure to this donut shop 4 hours away? What would you do if you realized you were actually driving on snow and you realized you weren't prepared to be driving on snow? Well, nothing makes for the start of an adventure quite like a little dispreparedness. That's why at 6:30 in the morning, bound for Bend, Oregon, I found myself traveling over the Santiam Pass on snow. But it was worth it because I was hoping to get here by sunrise. Truly the fitting start to an adventure. This weekend is the 3rd annual Ausflug, and this is the first time that this club has taken their party caravan east. In the previous 2 years, the High Desert Air-Cooled Volkswagen Club, led by Randy McKendry, would tool down to Northern California and camp along the redwoods. But this year, I am joining them on the first cruise to the Alvord Desert. Our first cruise as a group brings us to the Milliken store. 15 Volkswagens, accompanied by a Dodge B250 van and an overlander named Matt in his Nissan Titan, lined up along US Highway 20. I notice this is the first Volkswagen event I think I've been on where bay windows, like my 1970 Westfalia, are the oldest among us. Most events like this I attend have split window buses, but on this trip, it looks like the bays hold the honor of the oldest old-timers. We fall back onto the windy highway and make the 100-mile trek to Burns. One of the challenges of any group cruise is keeping the group together, but one of the challenges of a Volkswagen bus cruise is keeping the group together while allowing enough space for other vehicles to travel through our pod. Snow was sprinkling down from the sky as we stopped at Hampton Station. The headwinds blowing the buses around can be stressful, and stops like this help us lighten our spirits. Oil levels are checked, legs are stretched, dogs get walks. And then to the Crane Hot Springs on the eastern edge of the Mueller Wildlife Refuge, a small resort in the desert. It's only natural for a group like this to camp together. Generally, the move is to form a circle, bumper to bumper. But this park wouldn't allow us to do that with our buses, so we did the best we could. After 12 hours of driving on this particular day, I turned in early to catch up on some much needed sleep. Like any good day, Harley's day starts with a nice long run. and then we got to go for a walk around the farm. And before departing, we line our buses up for pictures. Our route options today are the shorter but rougher unpaved path that lies directly south. The group opted to go west to Narrows and then drop south to Field Station along the western edge of Steen's Wilderness. Descending into Field Station, Oregon, is when the awe struck in for me. Field Station is a remote community of only a couple dozen people. There is a motel consisting of 2 duplex houses, which is also owned by the gas station, the restaurant, and the bar. This is this town's local economy, 100 miles from civilization in any other direction. But this also serves as the last hint of civilization before we go into the desert.
All right, we're here with Stevie. Lost oil pressure coming up over from French Glen. Oh, we got a floor jack. This will make it easier. So Stevie here is gonna pull the engine. Hopefully, it's just a rear main seal change. Doing some investigating. I thought everyone passed me like a ways back. Like back on pavement, I got passed. So
I passed him on the gravel.
oh,
I passed him just after he got onto the gravel.
okay.
He was behind you. So I'll go back and check.
Okay.
Our destination is Frog Spring, where we could park our buses for the second night of our trip. This was our destination, and this is what we came to see.
Good boy, Harley.
You remind me of my mom. Like, same hair, similar.
Good boy. Stay on me. Sit. I said sit.
And they don't care what the
my favorite food on the whole planet. I told you about my friend Kwong.
Lantern walk.
Lantern walk. Hey! I told you about my friend Kwong. So I make my own pastry. I do my own pastry. That's a real one.
I have one of those. And it was like weird, dirty.
The next morning, after a long, warm, lazy breakfast and hiking and exploring, we saddled up for the next 150-mile ride, which started with a trek back to Field Station, where unfortunately we arrived to bad news for Stevie and his bus. It appears that one of the oil galley plugs fell out the previous day, and for this, no trail fix would be worth it.
An angel with wheels.
An unfortunate reality is there isn't anything on a Volkswagen that can't not break. Eventually, what can break will break if you put enough miles on the bus. But the grief in these moments always fades, and it just so happens that there's also nothing on a Volkswagen that can't also be fixed.
Yeah, I guess we have a driver meeting.
Might be good.
Are you trying to stop it now, buddy? He's booking. So we are going to stop out. We are going to make we'll make a photo. We'll take a photo.
Our driver's meeting commenced with Stevie's departure. Our route today would take us south into Nevada, where we would then cross west and up over the mountains back into Oregon, dropping into Lakefield. From there, we would gas up and head to our third nightly destination, the hot springs at Summer Lake. This was the single longest leg of the trip, climbing over 7,000 foot plateaus and dropping down multiple 7 and 8% grades. This would prove to be the most dramatic, most cinematic, and most beautiful drive I think I've taken in my bus yet. Exhausted, we make it into Lakeview for fuel, and then we roll north together to the Summer Lake Hot Springs. At this spot, we circled our buses like a proper Volkswagen camp. This meant the dogs could run together. Some of the Ausflugers went to go sit in the hot springs, and others made dinner. Propane heaters in lieu of open campfires drew crowds out for the final night of this year's April Fool's Ausflug. The last day is always the worst day. It's the final leg. But on our way back to Bend, we diverted for one last destination together. The Ausflugers rendezvoused at Fort Rock, where we hiked and we reflected on the weekend we just had. The adventure to the Alvord altogether put down about 600 miles on our buses. And our old Volkswagens proved that they are still as capable as ever of seeking adventure. And with a fresh set of memories to share, we cruised to La Pine for a beer and some hot food, for hugs and for shaking hands. And at least I didn't have any snow going back to Salem. Volkswagen people are very easy to please. If you tell them there is a patch of dirt they can park on, they will make a game of it. It's my favorite game.